Hello, welcome. Welcome to Empowerment Through, I'm so bad.
Awareness.
Empowerment Through Awareness.
It's one of those days, Mom.
I keep telling you, I can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago. Not kidding. So, good morning. For 2 more minutes. Empowerment Through Awareness. Let's see, we are on, I want to say day 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're on day 11. Today we're going to talk about what small acts of kindness were you once shown that you will never forget. I have forgotten all of them. And so what I did was I found a list of small acts of kindness, a big long list. And I thought what we might do is go through them in terms of what have you received and also what have you given? What small acts of kindness have you done for others and have others done for you? And you're going to have to live with the fact that I can remember acts of kindness that have been done for me, but I can't necessarily remember who or where or when. But I remember the act and how it made me feel. And I think that's the important part of the conversation, right? And I already started. I wrote on our list here, given and received, and I've noted for you already the ones I have watched you give in other people.
God damn, Mama.
Listen, we have an hour to talk about these things, so I want to be able to be prepared to have a meaningful conversation about these questions. Good morning, Hurricane. And hi there, Ms. Frey.
Excited to see you guys next week.
Yeah, right? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. They're coming for the intensive, which is in
next
2
week.
weeks.
Oh.
Yeah, next week is leather. And then
Leather, yes.
Yeah, listen, we we can't remember names, blah, blah, blah. Good morning. Who else is here? Chaotic Girl. Fatally Yours. Hey.
Hi, everyone. It is noon.
It's noon. Okay, so now it's officially good afternoon, and we're officially into our conversation. So this is going to be another conversation that will be truly enhanced by your participation. So as we go through these individual items one at a time, I would love to hear from you guys about what of these acts of kindness you have given or received and how they made you feel.
And you have a list of 35. You have a list of a lot.
70. And I checked, there were two different places, and I checked for doubles, and there weren't that many that I could tell. So there's lots of acts of kindness. There's lots of things that we can do for people and that people can do for us.
Let me change that over.
Well,
There we
Emo,
go.
I don't know if you were summoned specifically, but I mentally summon you here every day. So I'm glad that you got that through the ether, and here you are.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Afternoon,
Hi,
everyone.
Linda. Hi, everybody. So the first one on this list, we'll just jump into it, is it says, say good morning to a person standing next to you on the elevator.
Oh, hold on. Let's define kindness.
Oh, there we go.
Let's define kindness. Is that the big one?
That's the big one.
I'll go get that in a
Get
second.
that because you're hungry. Is
The definition: the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate.
friendly, generous,
And considerate.
and considerate. It doesn't say or.
Kindness is the quality of being gentle, caring, and helpful.
Wow. Gentle, caring, helpful.
The biblical definition is kindness is selfless, compassionate, and merciful.
That word always gets me.
Merciful?
Yeah.
Well, let's go into merciful. But then hold on, there's
Okay.
4 types of kindness.
Oh, wow.
Kin kindness, K-I-N,
Uh-huh.
or being kind to your family.
Okay.
Mutualism, or being kind to members of your community.
All right.
Reciprocal altruism,
What is that?
being kind to those you'll meet again.
Ah. And
competitive altruism.
competitive altruism.
Being kind to others when it enhances your... God damn it. Where'd it go? Hold on. That was part of a sentence.
That sounds like it helps you because it helps me, and I don't know how. I guess it's kind. They say that it is.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of information.
Yeah. I didn't think to just look up kindness, right? So nice, emo. Being kind and being nice are two different things. I suppose that's really true.
Kindness buffers stress.
Wow.
Look right here.
We'll have to save this.
Yeah, keep that open.
Yeah. Kindness buffers stress. Kindness is good for your heart. Kindness increases longevity. I think that all of that has to be true because if you are feeling kind or being kind, you have to be in a
good.
but you have to be in a better headspace than when you're not.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're looking for ways to be kind to people, your mindset has to be different. And we've talked about this already. Like, you know, how I talk about being like painfully self-absorbed, right? When I'm like in a negative thought loop, I'm not having space. I'm certainly not looking for who I can be kind to, right? And when I'm in a negative tailspin, I know that can't be good for me. It's not good for my body. It's not good for my emotional system. One of these days I'm going to get the difference between I know what the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems are, but I don't know which one's which. And, you know, one enhances one and one enhances the other. Hey, Kushla. So...
We'll come to the list.
Okay.
But
You want to work on this for now?
let's do this one first.
All right. Fair enough. Practicing kindness can lower cortisol and decrease depression and anxiety. Research shows that kindness can be used as stress management technique, much like meditation and exercise. So you can be mindful about being kind, right? You can practice kindness, just like we talked yesterday about practicing gratitude, right? And I think both of those things lower stress, enhance your mental and emotional well-being. Yeah. Yes, visiting the lady at a care facility who owned the house my mom brought because her kids live far away. Yeah. There's a million things. This other list I have of very specific things we'll get to in a minute. But kindness is good for facets of your mental health. Research shows that showing kindness towards yourself can be one tool in alleviating depression and social anxiety.
What does kindness to yourself look like, though? Because that's like self-care, self-love. It's easy to say.
No, but
it's not easy to do.
Right. I want to say that self-kindness is an action, right? So self-kindness is giving myself permission to take a few hours off and just relax and watch a movie instead of holding myself up to this crazy standard I have that I have to work all the time, right? So the act of kindness is in closing my laptop, walking away from my desk, and giving myself permission to do something nice for myself, right? I think the action itself is the self-care. The doing of it, the giving myself the permission to do it is the kindness, if I'm going to make distinctions.
So,
Emo, that's super funny.
So merciful, coming back to
all
this,
right.
bringing someone relief from something unpleasant.
Oh, that's this merciful. Bringing someone relief.
From something unpleasant.
That's cool because I always think of it from something unpleasant. It always sounds like there's a differential involved with that.
Like sparing someone their life.
Yeah. Like, you know, the Pharaoh who...
I'd say that's giving someone relief from something unpleasant.
When
That kinda hit the nail right on the
Pharaoh
head.
left them leave Egypt, yeah, I suppose that was merciful. But that's the kind of thing I think of, and it always has sort of like a negative spin for me.
And that's why we are processing these questions.
Yeah.
Because our relationship with the words really matters.
Yeah.
If we stayed in a loop around like submission, if someone sees submission, culturally grew up as seeing submissive weak, their whole relationship with power exchange is going to be skewed by their relationship with submission.
With the word.
With the word submission, right? So,
Right.
merciful, you hear like life being spared, when it could be something as simple as providing someone relief from something unpleasant.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to sit with that because that's a different definition. Hurricane says there's a society and dictionary explanation of acts of kindness, but it matters what it is to you. And I think that's what you're saying about language, right? Like there's a dictionary definition of a word like submission, and then there's your own
Relationship.
sort of relationship or the way it was brought to you, taught to you, or shown to you in your environment, right? Like you just said, in some environments, submission is seen as a form of weakness.
And this is why vocabulary is so fucking important.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have told me this shit in school. Oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's about communication. It's
Right.
not about how smart you. It's like the ability to really define words, understand exactly what they mean, and not what they were taught to you
Right.
by. Because, and that's the thing about language, culture, society. Like we all have to unlearn things that we were taught that was interpreted by another person,
Right.
as opposed to us finding a concrete definition that is the larger
Yeah.
definition.
Well, I mean, it's the technical terms for that are connotative and denotative, right? The denotative definition of something is what's in the dictionary. A connotative meaning of something is how it was demonstrated for you, how you interpreted it, and it usually is slightly different. Like that, the denotative meaning of merciful is what you said, bringing someone relief. My connotative meaning of it is somebody on high showing pity on somebody lesser than them, and it has a negative spin.
Yeah.
This is a much nicer, gentler definition than the one I've carried around with me, and I think it's because of reading in the Bible and places like that, and where has the word merciful shown up for me in my life. It doesn't show up in everyday vocabulary for me. Oh, that person was really merciful. When was the last time you heard somebody say that? Right? Maybe you have, but I haven't. Like I've only heard
the
it.
merciful Master Joshua.
Well, there you are, being better than people. Enough of that.
You ever heard that? I've never heard that.
No, I've never heard that. And I'm not sure that I will. But all right. But it's because in some ways people don't use that word in the modern common vernacular.
Yeah.
So there's the pitch for language. And I think that's true for, that can be true for a lot of the things that we've talked about so far and that we're going to continue to talk about is how are the words defined. And so, let's see. Kindness is good for your heart.
Just like beans.
Maybe beans. Did you really just say that?
Beans. They're good for your heart.
Merciful fidget Joshua. Where's Paul when you need him, you fidget spinner? Kindness cultivates your sense of social support and lessens stress, which can protect your heart. We know this from both animal studies and decades of public health research looking at the social dimensions of health. Kindness is not only heartwarming, but heart protective.
Well, yeah, if kindness buffers stress, absolutely.
It has to help your
It
heart
has to.
health.
It has to.
For sure. So there you go. And it increases longevity. So you live longer, you're heart healthy, and you're less stressful. So kindness is a really good idea.
We'll keep going down this. Did you say increases longevity?
We just said that.
I read something on TikTok yesterday or Twitter. It says, why do you enunciate the G twice in longevity?
Longevity, that's once.
It's twice.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Ah!
So how would you say it?
I have no idea. Well, longevity.
Longevity?
Longevity.
That is the magic of the English language, ladies and gentlemen. That's why everyone in the world has such a hard time learning English, because this is a very bizarre language compared to other, Romance languages, etc.
A specific type of kindness called loving kindness meditation has been found to protect telomeres.
Telomeres.
A part of your DNA that's a biological marker for aging.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, they've done a lot of research with telomeres.
Research shows that just 12 weeks of this type of meditation can buffer cellular aging when compared to wait-listed control group. Oh, so be kind, it'll make you younger longer.
Right, that's what they're saying. For those of you who don't know what metta meditation is, it's a type of meditation where you sort of say over and over to you yourself, you think of a person that you love or care about that are easy for you to relate to, and you say, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free from pain, may you know peace, or something like that. And then you think about it in terms of someone that you have a challenge in your relationship with, and you say the same thing, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you know peace. But there's like 4 different things that usually go with it, and then you expand, right? And then by the time you're done with the meditation, you're sort of chanting these things internally, like to the whole world or even to the whole universe. May you find happiness, may you find health, may you know peace. And that's what meditation is. It's that kind of meditation. So it's kind of like, it's loving kindness, because you're radiating outward from your being wishes of health, kindness, happiness to people, everyone you know, the world.
Yeah.
And it shifts how you feel inside.
2 things. One, longevity. Chant frog.
Longevity.
All
right.
That's fair.
Thank you.
And then sassafras aluminium.
Right, exactly. Aluminium.
And then
light bulb for Joshua.
It's 12:15 and we only have 813 hearts. Yesterday we got 20,000 hearts in 60
Do you know why?
minutes. Listen, we're not on track
because you
I'm
tapped.
not tapping.
Because you
I'm not
tapped
tapping.
all day.
Now,
So you guys have to tap the hearts.
5 tips for being a kinder person. And we're going to get to the acts of kindness.
Okay,
but this
cool.
is where we introduce
Yeah.
the
No,
list,
I get
right?
it.
Recognize the acts of kindness you're already doing.
That's what we're going to do with this list in a minute.
Why don't we am I a kind person? Is what
Hurricane says your tapping is Joshua's fidget fingers. You're the fidget master. That's what you are.
Let's see. Where were we on here?
We just started here. We didn't even start.
Oh no,
did you?
the other list. This one here.
The questions of the day.
The questions of the day. So, what small act of kindness were you once shown that you will never forget? So, what we're going to do is we're going to go down this list of acts of kindness that we are already doing, and then as we go down this list, if we remember one that
Was done for us.
that was done for us, we'll jump in.
I because I wanted to be prepared, so I did something.
So let's shoot it.
All right. So the first thing is saying good morning to someone standing next to you in an elevator, and I expanded that to smiling, because to me, catching somebody's eye and smiling is this kind of the same thing as saying hello, right? Sometimes you get into an elevator and everybody stares forward, and nobody looks at anybody or acknowledges anybody, right? It's like very disconnected, like as if we're not standing shoulder to shoulder in a confined space. But if you look at somebody and you catch their eye and you smile at them, to me it's the same thing as saying hi. And I've done that. I do that rather readily. But it's also been done for me, and then it makes me smile. When someone does that for me, I end up smiling back. And that has the same impact. Emo doesn't talk to strangers. Got you. But that has the same impact as that shift to the happy longevity stuff. Like I can feel my whole internal feeling, at least for the moment, shift towards the positive when I exchange eye contact and smile with someone. Smiling isn't talking. That's fair. So I don't know. Well, how do you feel about that?
I get it. I like doing it.
Mm-hmm. You say things more to people.
Yeah.
You're more verbally engaging. You'll not only will you say hello, you'll like slide right in and start talking to people about stuff. When you see something that you relate to, or you see them doing something or whatever, you'll be like, you jump right into conversations with people.
So it's like, get away, fly. Why do I do that? Because there's a certain feeling that it kicks off inside of me.
Like a good feeling.
A good feeling, like
Yeah.
friendly. It also, like, I can gauge the temperature and the receptiveness and the vibe of the space that I walk in. So let's say it's not an elevator, but it's in a waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
Or going into anywhere, any room where we're going to be kept there for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. It allows me to see what the temperature of the room is. Right, so through kindness, I'm also collecting information.
So there's a personal agenda.
Maybe that goes back to the competitive altruism.
Right. Which was what was a competitive altruism? Something about enhances your. I got the feeling that it was like something that was better for you.
And in a sense, that is it because
competitive altruism. That's a crazy.
I gotta
phrase.
find out where that was listed. But the idea behind that is I will get information from the room, so I know whether it's friendly, whether it's not safe, whether someone's not all present.
Yeah. Does that come back to your hypervigilance?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like preparing for safety. Yes, talking to some grandmother about her cats. Thank you, Fatally Yours. Yes, that's a random act of kindness. That's just like that. Here's another one. Pay the toll for the driver behind you. That's been done for me. That's one of those crazy moments where you're like, wow, because the person drives away. They've done a random act of kindness with no expectation of anything in return, which I think is the definition of the random act of kindness, right? Like you do something with no expectation of a return or of a thank you. You just did it to do it. I think I did it once only because it had been done for me, because I thought it was so cool when someone did it for me that I was like, I did it. I seem to remember driving over to Atlantic Beach on that bridge, doing it there.
I don't think I've done that. I've bought people food before.
Randomly? Or when they asked you?
Randomly. Like if
Yeah.
someone was standing outside or you could see someone was homeless and stuff like that.
Yeah. You just you get like when we take food out of restaurants, we take to-go food that would have been perfectly good for us to come home and eat. You'll just give it to someone when you see them on the street. That I've seen you do.
Yeah, and I've taught that down. I've taught that to my kids. And
Yeah.
But pay for the toll. I don't know, man. I don't know.
If you ever were on the receiving end of it,
oh, it'd be great.
It's really
It'd be
amazing.
great.
It's like,
a good
wow,
feeling,
that
yeah.
person had no reason to do that other than to try to make someone's day, and someone they were never going to meet. Like
What
they
I
didn't know
will
me
do-
from anybody.
What I will do is when we are filthy rich, I want to be able to provide people that type of relief. Not pay the toll relief, but like medical bills
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
supplemental income to help groceries,
Right.
right? Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done that. I have done that. And I think it's been done for me. I have a vague recollection of like being in a line, not having enough money for something. You know, that embarrassing thing where you have to make them try to take things out of your cart or off the conveyor
Yeah.
belt because you can't afford it. How embarrassing that is. And then to have someone step in and say, you know, here, let me help you out.
Yeah.
Right. That's a really cool thing.
I want to be able to have enough to do that for
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I think we're going to. As of today, I'm even more sure we're going to. Take a minute to direct someone who is lost, even though you're rushing. You do that all the time.
All the time.
Like when I told you guys the other day that he has this like hyper vigilant way of noticing that people need things like before anyone else could possibly notice it. We'll be standing on the train platform and he can catch the eye of like tourists who have that like lost look on their faces, or they have their map out.
It's
on their
not a lost
phone.
look. This is what they're doing.
But you notice it, like, right? Like other people can walk right by it and be like, not even know that that's what's going on for a person. And you like see it and know what it is and you step right in. You're like, hey, can I help you? It also helps that you know how to get around New York, right? I actually did that once because of you. I tell you, you inspire me with this stuff on the street. There was a whole family of people who were like visiting from, I don't know, Guatemala or wherever, a Spanish speaking Southern American country. And they were out here on our street, and they were looking for something. And we went through, you know, I went through the phone with them to try to figure out where they were going. They were looking at buses. They had no idea. I actually walked them down to the train.
Good. Cool.
And I walked them, you know, down to the 456, and you know, explained how they would. I think I actually took them down to the platform so that they could get on the right train.
Yeah.
And I only did it because you inspire me to do that.
Now, with that being said, there's been 2 times in my life.
2 times in your life, yes? Please.
One time, I sent a person in the wrong direction by accident. total opposite direction. And then the second time, I sent them on the wrong direction on purpose because they were fucking assholes. They were assholes. They deserved it. They were being loud
Judge,
or mean
jury,
or
and
some shit
executioner.
Like that.
There
So I
you
was like,
are.
yeah, it's that way.
So the next one is write a letter to a child who could use some extra attention. Kids love getting mail. When I was a kid, you know, you guys have heard me say my mom passed. It was a tough childhood, blah, blah, blah. But my uncle and aunt moved to Florida. I lived in New York still. And my uncle had taught me how to play chess. And what he did was he set up two things. He wrote letters to me, and he'd send me a chess move, and then I'd have to make the move on my board, and then I would have to make my move. And this was mail. There was no other kind of mail back then, right? There was no computer stuff. There was no email. There was no instant anything, right? And so then I would mail him my move, and then he would mail me his move back. That, and he used to quiz me on state capitals, which it was like attention from my uncle that like he didn't have to give me, right? But it made me feel special, and it made me feel important, and it made me feel like I mattered.
Yeah.
Right, kind of like that thing we were talking about the kid's mom, asking their opinion about the dress that they were trying on, right? It's like my uncle was showing me attention in a way that made me feel like I mattered.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know that I've written any letters to children in the same way, but I absolutely received that. And I even know who it was from. See, I can remember something. That's why I printed this list to try to jog my memory.
I like getting mail, I just don't like getting bills.
That's fair. But these are handwritten letters, right? Like, so that's, and I get it. Like, we don't do that anymore because we text and we email, and there's no, like, real reason anymore for written letters.
Well, except the time that it takes to handwrite the letter.
Right. That was what we were talking about sending thank you notes, right?
Yeah.
I think sending thank you notes, on paper in the mail is kind of special. Right?
Lourdes, awesome. I caught that about donating to random GoFundMes, especially when they're based on education. That's really, really solid. Really solid. I see a few don't ask me for directions.
Yeah, no, that's a thing. Like, is total aside. My dad, my sister, and I were biologically connected. We all have really great senses of direction. So when my stepmother came on board, she had this terrible sense of direction, which I didn't understand. I was only 12 or 13. I don't think I had ever run into that before. And so she used to go places and then call my dad from wherever she was to ask for directions back home. And all of us were like, if you got there, how can you not know how to get home? Talking about directions.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first introduction to the fact that, like, directions are sort of like an innate ability for some people. Anyway, that was always funny to us.
We have offer to pick up groceries for an elderly neighbor, especially in extreme weather. I think we saw this come up on the comments.
The people have done that. I'm trying to think if anybody's ever done that for me. I certainly know that people have, like when I had surgery in February, people brought me things. People went and shopped for me, and people went and did things.
Well, we always have people that offer to do it for us.
That's true.
In varying degrees.
That's true.
Certain.
And it's not that I'm elderly. It's just people are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing that all the things how many balls we're juggling, it's like they do that for us as well.
Yeah. Well, that's true. If I go down that rabbit hole, there's 100 acts of kindness and offers of kindness that people do for me, and my job is to allow it, to accept it, because that's
the hard part.
That's the hard part. The hard part is I sort of have that and this is again what we want to do or how we want to be against how we were raised, right? Like, I was raised with that mentality that's like, you got to do everything for yourself, you have to be self-sufficient, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a challenge. I love this pen pal thing that's going on in the chat. I see that, you guys. I think that's amazing.
6.
Homeless
person.
Well, I was talking about giving a homeless person your doggy bag. I learned that from you. I don't even think about stuff like that. I struggled with helping, like, people on the street, regardless of whether or not I factually knew they were homeless, that people who ask for things. I've had a bad attitude about that for a lot of my adulthood, like not believing that it was good, believing that most of the people who beg on the street are just looking for money for drugs or alcohol, and and they're lying about whatever, and I really struggled with it, and I came to the place where I realized that two things. I could give people food and I could feel okay about that. And then one day I saw a man on the corner of somewhere in town, and he said that he was a vet and from the Marines. And of course I have a fondness for that now because, I know you, but there's other former Marines that I know. And so I actually sat with him, and because he seemed cogent, he was like, he didn't seem out of it. He didn't seem like he was just begging. There was something in his face that said to me, like, that he had a story, and that there was really something there. And I sat with him for a while, and I let him tell me his story, and it was something I could understand. He talked about how through a series of incidences, some of which were just out of his control, he ended up homeless. He ended up on the street, and he ended up in this cycle where he was asking for money every day, because every night he would try to get to they have these day hotels where when you're homeless you can pay like $80 or $90 and spend the night in a hotel somewhere. And so he was in the cycle now where that was where he felt like he was reduced to. He didn't know how to get out of that cycle of trying to do that. He had lost insurance, he had health issues, and I believed him, and there was something, so I gave him $20. I don't know that I had ever given anybody on the street money, let alone $20. But I felt like it was the right thing to do, and I felt good about it. By the grace of God, I've never been in that position to have anybody help me like that. And I had compassion for him that day, because it's part of the reason why I have that judgment about it is because I have never been able to imagine myself being in a position like that. Right? I've had judgment about how did you get there? What did you not do? It's not that hard to get a job, blah, blah, blah. And that's judgment on my part, right? And in that day, listening to him tell the series of incidences that got him to where he was, I was able to empathize. I was able to understand that I too could suffer a series of incidences like that and end up where he was. And I'd never had that experience before.
Yeah. I like what Six said. I may do that with my sister. I send notes every once in a while to my sisters in the mail, and normally it's just, "Hi, bitch. Love, Danny." It's very much appreciated and loved by them. I would absolutely do that.
Yeah.
I think I want to do that now. I
Six
think now
bomb.
I want to print out pictures that we take, send them to my sister, and say that shit. She'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's hilarious. So let's see. Now we have say I love you to someone you love.
That seems so easy.
Put a coin in an expired meter.
That's the thing about paying the toll. Oh, it's a little cheaper because it's just a coin or two. But yeah, I wonder. I think I've actually done that once or twice.
Put a coin?
Yeah. You see someone's car parked at a meter and the meter's expired, but they don't have a ticket yet, right? If you put money in the meter, you can keep them from getting a ticket. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool.
Let's see. Help a mother carry her baby stroller up the subway stairs or hold the door open for her. We do that quite a bit.
Well, I don't know about we, but you do it all the time. It's another one of the things that you notice before anyone. Like you can see somebody getting ready to take a stroller up or down the train stairs, and you're like right there, like to help them.
I like this one. Each time you get a new item of clothing, give away something old.
That would be an awesome idea.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. We do that sometimes, though. We live on a street where all we have to do is put things outside the door, and there's people who come and pick it up because they appreciate it. And we've done that. We've done that with food. We've done that with large amounts of clothing when we've cleaned things out.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it to get any sort of positive response, but I've been out there and seen people really appreciate it. I've seen.
There was a time we got back with all that food.
Mm-hmm. Right, and we
set up the table.
We set a table outside because we had so much leftover food we were never going to eat it, and you're the one who has that idea. You're very kind. For as much of a hard ass as you are, sometimes you have a very kind.
I also grew up in the neighborhood, and I grew up seeing homeless people. I grew up seeing people hungry. I grew up seeing people without. I went to school with people in the same way, so it's like. That shit's always on my radar because I've known people who it's affected.
Yeah.
And I try not to be wasteful.
Yeah.
I try to leave a small footprint. I try to give what I have when I have it. When I have it to give.
Right.
Because then there's the times we don't.
Right.
And it's like, listen, champ,
right.
I'm sorry, man, not today. Right? So it's like there's the balance in it.
Yeah.
Take someone's shift as the carpool parent. I get it.
I'm not a kid. I don't have kids, so that
or a
I
car.
can't relate to that. Or a car right now. Yeah, that's true too.
Bring your assistant coffee. Here's some money. Go get us coffee.
Such a jerk.
No. Listen. The rule is, you fly, I buy.
Okay. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's kind of right. You know,
it is kind of
the reciprocal. The reciprocal altruism, where you're going to meet somebody again, or competitive altruism. Yeah. I also I have been given random. I have had people bring me coffee or bring me something that I didn't. You know, they went out and then they just came back. They happened to remember whatever it was that I drank, and they were like, "Here you go." I've been on the receiving end of that. That's lovely. And,
this competitive altruism thing is really getting a hold, because you know another thing I've done, like when you're in the hospital or whenever anyone was in the hospital, we take coffee and donuts to the nurses. Period.
Yeah.
Right, and that is to be kind to them, but also to be on the radar.
I learned that from my dad.
Right.
Because my mom spent a lot of time in hospitals, and my dad. Oh, and back in the day, like terminal cancer patients were on the same ward. They like put them on the same floor. There was a whole mentality back then about how you treated terminally ill people. And so my dad was there a lot, and so all of the nurses, so he always brought stuff to like the nurses station and stuff to, you know, just because he was grateful.
Yeah, I mean,
taking care of my mom.
Ultimately that's what it's a thank you.
Yeah.
It's also keep a fucking eye on them.
Well, and do you remember the time I brought, and you said to do it, bring coffee and donuts to the post office. I have a post office around the corner here where I had a P.O. box, and I went there one time and I was a screaming bitch about some stuff that I thought that they had done or some whatever, and then I got home and I realized I was totally in the wrong. I had like yelled at everybody and made a big deal about it, and then when I got home and I realized I was in the wrong, you said, well, why don't you go bring them some donuts and coffee? And I did. I got a dozen donuts and a box of coffee, and I went in however many days later, and I went in and I said, I was in here the other day, I was a complete bitch and I was totally wrong, and I just want to give you this and say I'm sorry. And that felt really good to me. Like, that, I don't know if that was competitive altruism, but I feel like I got more out of that than they possibly could have. Like, it meant the world to me. I felt so much better to be able to do something to try to right a wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's a really good way to do it. And consequently, my relationship with everybody in that post office was like solid after that. Like, I don't have that P.O. box anymore. And when I pass this guy, Kate, on the street, because he likes to sit outside, we're like, hey, Kate, hey, Kat, how's it going? Blah, blah. Like, I'm friends with the people in the post office now.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool.
It's like when I worked for the feds, I would take patches of the people I worked for, and I would give them to the officers that I would meet. And it's like...
What a patch was
patches,
that?
like U.S. Marshals.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, people have their fucking oorah walls and shit like that, and they post all the patches.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
So, out of the blue, send flowers to a friend.
You know, I've been thinking about this flowers thing, about cutting flowers and giving flowers as gifts.
Right.
And...
because they die. And
the dying, yes.
Right.
But what you can do is you can take the petals and boil them and extract the oils from it and still use them. Right, because that's how you make rose water, right? You have to pluck it and boil it and shit like that. Like, so it doesn't. So it
wouldn't. So the flowers just wouldn't like die an unseemly death. They would live on in a second incarnation.
Also,
yeah.
I was listening to this thing about vegetarians and how there's this idea of nothing suffering because I'm eating plants. But yes, you are. They are suffering.
Listen, I have a whole. Don't put me down that rabbit hole.
So, with that being said, the idea of giving flowers as a gift, because I heard someone talking about, and I don't like flowers per se, but the idea of being able to use the flower to extract the oils, to extract like the flavor, whatever it is, it's not done once you get them.
Right.
Right. You can still use them forward. All right.
Yeah. Yes, we can press them and use them in other ways. Yeah, pressed flowers are beautiful.
We love rabbit.
But we love
Listen, we'll all be wearing tinfoil hats by the end of the hour.
That vegetarian thing, I believe they've done studies to show that plants give off like vibes. Like plants have. They're alive. And
Johnny
so,
Five.
You know, be vegetarian, be vegan for whatever reason you want to be. Like that works for you, but don't be chauvinistic about it.
We got 23 minutes to go through the...
Really? Are we already there?
Yes.
Holy cow. All right.
All right, so...
say please and thank you and really mean it. Do it all the time.
I do my best.
No, I do it all the time.
When you're on a crowded train or bus, offer your seat to an elderly, disabled, or pregnant person.
That's been done for me. And the first time it was done for me, I was mortified because I was like, I am not old enough for this. But it was still a kind thing to do.
I do it when I notice it.
Yeah.
But more often than not, I'm in my phone, or we're chit-chatting or what have you, and I don't see the... Well, hey.
No. Because you know what? Because what your hypervigilance on a train is for danger.
Yeah.
The minute somebody is threatening or becomes a loose cannon on the train, you're on it in a second.
Here we go, number 16. Don't interrupt when someone is explaining herself.
Well, we already know my problem with that.
Oh, number 17. Let a fellow driver merge into your lane.
Yeah. When do you do that?
No. So I have this theory that people drive the way they walk.
Say more.
Meaning, if you're on a crowded sidewalk, you'll step in front of someone without looking to see if there's someone there. Mm-hmm. Same driving practices a person does walking.
Okay.
If you're going to make a left, you don't look to see if someone's coming from your left.
Oh, I had an accident once because somebody made a left-hand turn out of a right-hand lane right into my car.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about walking.
Yeah.
People walk the same way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Put your shopping cart back in its place. I love those guys on social media that block the car with people's carts, or put stickers of magnets on their car. The cart police.
I don't know that.
I'll find it.
You spend more time on social media than I do.
Call or write to a teacher who changed your life. That'd be fucking cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I mean, granted, there was one teacher that I ran into who was the music teacher from high school, and he was really, really cool. I ended up bumping into him on a train about 15 years later, and he was sick. He wasn't doing well, but I thanked him for who he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bring a box of donuts to share at the office.
I used to do that all the time. When I worked in restaurants, when I worked in California, a lot of the kitchen staff were Mexican specifically. And there was a big Mexican grocery store near my house. And I, at one point, learned that there's sort of a distinction between donuts that, like, Americans that I know eat, and then the kind of pastries that Mexicans eat, like for breakfast pastries.
Pan dulce.
Yeah. So I used to go and get them and bring them to the kitchen staff. Because, people would bring in donuts to work, like for opening for lunch shift all the time. But I would notice that they wouldn't really eat them. Right? And then I found this thing. And and then I would get them and they would perk up and be like...
No, that's the shit.
Yeah. And then I learned which ones of those I like to.
Oh, yeah. We can go to 116 and get some. Let's see. Forgive someone a debt and never bring it up again.
That's been done for me.
I don't think about money coming back if I give it up.
Yeah.
I'll never think about asking for it back.
Yeah. Well, that's a rule that that they say, that never give something to someone that you can't afford to not give back. Like, that you should give, even if someone says, "Can I borrow?" If you can't give it with the idea that you won't get it back, then you should say no.
Yeah. Yep. Listen with all your senses.
That was what we were talking about yesterday, about all of the the active listening, right?
Yeah.
That's another way to put it, though. Listen with all your senses.
I smell you're lying.
No, but look at the person, listen to the person, feel their energy. I get that. That's a good way of putting it.
Write a note to the boss of someone who helps you and explain how great a job that person is doing. I wish there could be, you could see it being paid forward or recognized.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure more often than not that shit just falls on deaf ears. They're like, good job, and then they keep moving.
No. But I've done that. I just did that the other day. You'll pardon the frustration we had around it, but when I had problems with water delivery, right? It didn't get delivered properly, and whoever did it, but the guy who'd been delivering the water for the last 4 years was awesome. And so in the midst of my complaining about the service that I didn't get, I made sure to tell the person, you need to understand, though, the person who's been doing this for the last 4 years has been awesome. This is what he's done. And I know that it's in the record.
And they never came by to pick up the empties. Did they come by to pick up the empties?
It's scheduled for Monday.
It was okay.
Yeah, so we'll see. They should come on Monday.
So let's see. I want to go down. I want to keep going down this list because I want to give people ideas or recognition of what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, and they've been doing here too. I mean, people have been speaking up for the things that they've done, of the things we talked about.
All right. Simply say I'm sorry when you're wrong. I do my best to recognize that as fast as I can.
That's been done for me, and that's I'm very impacted when someone has hurt my feelings or someone has done something, and they think enough about it to come back and apologize. You know,
that was me.
you've done that, and it means a lot. It really means a lot. I try to do it all the time, but I am trained to do that. My background trains me to do that, and that's the whatever reciprocation, because I have to do that in order to stay healthy.
Let's see. Throw away your trash and someone else's after a movie, picnic, or visit to the park. Listen, I wish I could throw it at them.
But I've seen you do that, like more at events, and you're picking up people's stuff, and you're not doing it to like, you're just doing it to be kind and helpful. I've seen you do that.
Encourage someone who seems despondent.
I don't know if I do that. When I see someone, that's cool, Fatally Yours, because I hate it when the beach is all trashed, right? To pick up trash at the beach. That's cool. What was the one?
Sometimes she's my mom. Sometimes she puts her hand in my butt too.
Is that your mom? Did you just say that?
No, I did.
I know, but did you just say what you said?
Oh yeah.
I thought we were supposed to call that some sort of glove or
whatever. Oh, hand puppet.
Hand puppet. Human. Yeah. What was the one that you just said?
Despondent.
Yeah, because like that's that.
Despondent, in low spirits from loss of hope or courage.
Yeah.
We do that a lot.
Yeah.
With the work
and I have an intuitive sense. I can tell from the look on someone's face if they're struggling with something, and I step in and will easily say, "This is what I think I'm seeing. How are you doing?" And let them give them the opportunity, hold space for them to be able to speak, if in fact my observation is correct.
Let's see. Volunteer to take care of a friend's dog while they're on vacation. I love doing that as long as they don't shed and bark and fucking piss all over the place. Yes. No, but hey, listen, me and the dogs, whenever I dog sit, we have about 24 hours of seeing who's boss. And when they break, then it's a good time from there, right?
You do that with people too, not for nothing. Not for nothing.
Let's see. Help a friend pack for a move. Listen, I'm done fucking helping friends pack. Aaron, this motherfucker, I never told the story.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. I would always be... That's not true either. Depending, I may or may not help a friend pack for a move. Because the moving shit, man. Yeah, listen, Aaron... I need the circumstances.
I have moved more than 20 plus times in my life. And if it had not been for the fact that people step in to help me...
No, totally different.
Like, I have been helped so many times that karmically, I could help people move for the rest of my life and barely pay that debt.
So when it says help a friend pack for a move, it's not saying help a friend move. Helping a friend
That's fair.
pack, right? So I'll come and I'll help you pack, but I'm not carrying shit down the steps.
Nope, that's a debt I have. Because if it weren't for the fact that people... Hurricane, you're not going to scare me away. Stop with that. Stop with that.
So, let's see. Offer change when the person in front of you at the register comes up short. We were talking about that. Before a friend moves away, give her your favorite recipe or quote and a photo of you two together. Oh, how sweet.
That is really sweet. That's one of those things I would never think to do. Like, now that I've heard it, I'm like, I'm going to try to keep that in mind. So when somebody's moving away. I did when I moved from Florida to Illinois. Florida is Florida, temperature-wise. And I was moving to Illinois, which everyone in Florida thought was like the Arctic tundra. And I got more sweaters from people and then spent the hottest winter I had ever had when I got to Illinois.
Leave a generous tip for a pleasant waiter.
I do that. And as a server, that's been done for me.
Yeah.
When I worked in a restaurant in California, there was a man who he and his wife would come and sit at my bar, and he would always leave me a $50 tip, regardless of what they ordered or what their bill was. And he said to me, "It's because you make my wife happy, and that matters to me." And that always felt good to me. And then one time they came in with their daughter, and he left me $75, as if like his value in his head of like tipping me was $25 a person. Like, it was crazy, but it felt really good. I mean, it feels good to be on the receiving end of that.
At work, offer to transfer a caller who needs help from another department.
I've gotten that.
Pass along a great book you've just finished reading. Call a friend that you haven't spoken to in a while. Send flowers to a friend. Send someone a handwritten note. Offer to babysit for a friend. Tell family and friends how much you love them and appreciate them. Help your parents in household chores. Help a friend get active. Make someone laugh.
That's one. People have made me laugh when they've really needed to laugh. And I didn't even know I needed to laugh. And because laughter really shifts. When we talk about kindness, shifting how you feel on the inside in a better place, I don't know that anything does that as much as laughing. And I don't very often belly laugh, but occasionally when I can belly laugh to the point of tears running down your face, it's I don't know what chemicals it releases in your body, but it's really good because I feel way better after it.
Host an informal get-together and invite your neighbors to get to know each other. Tell someone how proud you are of them. Tell them how thankful you are for them. Send motivational texts to a friend who's struggling. Send someone a joke to cheer them up. A picture of a cute animal. I like doing pictures.
You do that. We do that all the time.
Inspirational quotes. Interesting articles. A surprise note or drawing on someone's desk.
Listen. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. But this says, "I love you forever, Mama." And this showed up on my desk. Joshua was working an overnight job at the time. And I woke up and that was on my desk. And I have had that note on my desk for probably 2 years at this point. Because it really meant so much to me. And I've done it too. But I've been on the receiving end of it a couple times and it feels really good.
Let's see. Send a care package. Make a donation to charity.
You're just reading these now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a cup of tea for your colleagues. Get to know a new staff member. People. Bake a cake for your colleagues. Dan, if you're watching, give praise to your colleague for something.
It's only because you threatened him with an inch of his life that he needed to make you a cake.
If it's raining, lend someone your umbrella. Take someone out for lunch instead of eating at your desk. Let someone jump the queue in the supermarket. I've done that.
And that's been done for me.
Have a conversation with someone who's experiencing homelessness.
Right, I did that.
And there we go. A couple of them were repeated.
We're the same, yeah.
So
I didn't quite have time.
That is recognizing acts of kindness. So sure as shit, we've got quite a bit that we do.
Yeah.
Either
and that have
consciously
been
or
done
subconsciously.
For us, right?
So then it comes to try kindness-centered meditation practice. Start with gratitude. Researchers of one study also suggest that expressing gratitude towards someone else for something kind they did may be a good way to kickstart your own kindness efforts. They theorize that gratitude towards others may encourage people to pay it forward with kindness. Begin big. If you're just starting out your journey and doing kind acts for others, set aside one day to focus on that kindness. Show yourself kindness. Being kinder to yourself is a huge component of being kind overall, and practicing self-compassion has numerous wellness benefits. This can be tough to do, especially if you're often self-critical. But a few exercises for starting a self-compassion practice can be found on the Center of Mindful Compassion.
A friend once gave me a whole workbook on self-compassion because I was really struggling with it. She sent it to me in the mail.
What was the competitive altruism?
Competitive altruism. All it said was enhances your, and you didn't have the rest of it. We just guessed where it was going.
Competitive altruism is a possible mechanism for the persistence of cooperative behaviors, specifically those that are performed unconditionally. The theory of reciprocal altruism can be used to explain behaviors that are performed by a donor who receives some sort of benefit in the future. When no such compensation is received, however, reciprocity fails to explain altruistic behavior.
Right, because there was reciprocal altruism and then there was competitive altruism.
Yeah.
There were two different ones that you said earlier. And I think the one that says that's without altruism is when you do it without any thought of return.
The theory of competitive altruism also helps one connect such behavior to the handicap principle. With competitive altruism, cooperation is considered a trait that provides a signaling benefit and thus is subject to sexual selection. Like a peacock's tail, cooperation persists and is magnified even though it carries a cost to the individual. Cooperation must be significantly costly to the individual such that only a limited proportion of the population is fit enough to partake.
Can you explain that? Do you know what that meant?
Fuck no.
Okay. Because I was like, what? I didn't get that.
But it has to do with cooperative behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
to give of selflessly understanding that there is something that's going to be benefited from giving.
Not so much just for the benefit in the spirit of cooperation, because the cooperation itself is the benefit. Like going forward, being in a cooperative relationship with
Yes.
someone has benefit. It's not just like you're giving to get, but you're giving to foster
Yeah.
a type of cooperation that would benefit both of you going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. All right, so we got 7 minutes left. Yes, Hurricane, absolutely. While Hurricane does that, let me
Okay.
jump back to the question real quick. What small act of kindness were you once shown that you'll never forget? So for me, I was getting harassed by these bullies in junior high school, and they wanted to jump me on 50th and 8th Avenue. And this doorman came in from the office building, and he broke it up, and he brought me into the building.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
And it stopped me from getting jumped.
That's cool.
I wouldn't say that was a small act of kindness.
No, that was a big. Well, like my high school music teacher, who I will always say saved my life, who reached out to me and knock. Is that our reach out? So that was really. When I moved from New York to Florida, I was in a very bad way. I was very depressed. I didn't want to make the move. I felt I was psychosomatically ill for months. I fantasized about running away and moving back to New York. And my music teacher immediately sort of promoted me to the specialized singing group. She treated me like I mattered. She treated me like I was talented and important, and she gave me purpose. And I didn't have purpose at that point. I had anything but that. And I don't know if she did it on purpose. I don't know. I mean, because I came into that school in the middle of 10th grade, right? And I don't know what I would have done. When people tell me that there's no music programs and drama programs in schools, I don't know how kids make it. Because I would not have made it if it weren't for that. And that's a big act of kindness. And so that was a big deal.
Awesome. Hello, Master Hurricane.
Hey, Joshua, I get.
Volume up on this. Awesome.
Okay, I just want to say, coming from an act of kindness point of view, I want to thank the both of you for everything that you've done, taking the time every single day to help us process everything and making us feel safe and at home. And I want to ask everybody that feels the exact same way to please drop the hearts in the comments. Because we love you.
So much. Thank you so much,
Thank
Master
you.
Hurricane. That
That's
means
awesome.
a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wow, what a way to wrap
Wow.
the
Don't make me cry. I have to go out. Don't make me Thank you
yeah,
so
no,
much.
this really means a lot to us to be able to sit and
Yeah.
process and learn ourselves with you guys.
And that you come makes it all matter. I mean, if we were just sitting here talking to the dead air, it wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So thank you. Being received the way that you all receive us is amazingly heart filling.
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you guys so much. Also Instagram, thank you, because they're listening to you too.
Yeah,
And
there's
thank you
hearts
for
over
the
there
hearts.
too. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think we need to end right there because I don't think there's another thing to say that's any better than that.
So tomorrow's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow we are moving on to question, what does unconditional love look like for you? Oh wait, no, that's not it. What's the one thing you'd like others to remember about you at the end of your life?
Oh, that's going to be good. Hopefully it's Sunday at noon. You'll be available to come and hang out with us because that's going to be a conversation.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Thinking about getting to the end of your life and what you want that to look like. Yeah.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
So ultimately what we're doing with these questions is at the end of the mentorship program in about 3 months, we're going to release a workbook based off the mentorship program. And all the questions that we're reviewing here, something got in my eye.
Yeah.
All the questions that we're reviewing here are going to be brought over to this workbook with the reasons of why why they matter in the kink journey. So let's reframe this. We have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
What small act of kindness were you once shown that you'll never forget when it comes to BDSM and the lifestyle, and why it's important to recognize that?
Oh, my mentor. When I first showed up, I was new. I didn't know anything, and this man who ran events didn't know me from Adam, took me under his wing, walked me around the events, showed me stuff, taught me stuff, and he had no reason to do that other than he was being kind. And it gave me a foundation in BDSM. It helped me know about safety and what it meant. Like when we say we shave years off of people's journey, that man shaved years off of my journey. Mm. So that's right there. I don't feel like I have to go any further than that.
Wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, no, it's huge. What about you? What acts of kindness helped you on your BDSM journey?
Anytime someone's given me space to process, held the space being held, especially after the whole Michelle thing years ago. Yeah. Right. The ability to. Let me get that.
That's the doorbell ringing in case you can't hear it. But anyway, never forget the live with Joshua. So
the ability to not feel invisible was that they thought it was a small act of kindness, and for me, it just made me feel validated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important. I mean, that goes back to being seen and heard.
All right.
All right,
Folks,
we gotta go.
We love you guys.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow at noon.
Thank you so much.